Alright, so you've gathered some rocks, and I'm going to show you what we do with them next. Hold on. Alright, maybe you can see me here. I've got my dust mask on. It's not as critical when you're using the bigger rocks to break them into smaller rocks, which is what I'm doing right now. But I also sweep off the dust whenever I'm done breaking a rock so I don't get my colors contaminated. And I have sunglasses because it's pretty bright out here. These are safety glasses, just tinted. And I've got my basket of rocks. But I also have a bunch of recycled containers. I keep my yogurt cups so that I can keep my paints separated. These are from Noodles, some sort. Anytime I see a good useful plastic container, I don't throw it away. I wash it and keep it for rocks. So if you've gathered small rocks, you may not need to break them outside. But if you do, what I have is a big slab of rock here, and it's on top of another big plastic container that we've recycled. You can use it on a bench or on the ground, however you want to do it. You just need something firm to break rocks on. So I'm going to start with this white limestone. It's very hard to crack. I'm not sure my little hammer's going to do it, but I'm going to try. If it doesn't, I'll move to a different rock and wait till I have a bigger hammer handy for the big rock. There we go. Broke it up. Making a start. And it's always shooting off my pieces and I have to recover them. Ideally, you want small pieces like this. And keep them separate. Yep, I want a big one. You just keep doing this until you've broken up your rock. Yep, we're gonna need a bigger hammer for this one. We'll move on to something easier. And I'll come back with the bigger hammer. For now, I've got a few little chips of white that I can use for showing you how to make some watercolor paint. This is some yellow pieces. They're already pretty small, so I'm just going to leave those in that. This is that small flat rock that's got orange on one side and yellowish on the other. It's already pretty small, so I'm going to put it in a different container for all the orangey yellows. And sweep off the white for now. One here. Try to keep all the similar colors in the similar cups. If you have a piece of canvas cloth or something that you don't mind tearing up, you can put it over the rock. And when I get the big hammer out, I'm going to go get my cloth to show you what I mean. So those are all good sized. Put those in there. When I keep this dust, because the dust is where the pigment is. I'll be right back. Go and get the big hammer. A big hammer and a cloth. This is just one of my old paint rags. I'm going to cover it up. And you can see it is breaking it up. Get that leaf on there. Still needs the big hammer, even for small pieces. I put gloves on too because I've smashed my finger before with that hammer. And you can see I forgot to put my glasses on, which was not a good idea, but at least my rock was covered while I was hammering. So, because this one's very hard, I'm going to break it even smaller. I'll put that in my little cup. This is limestone, and it'll make a nice white in watercolor, but it's only going to make it clear. It's only going to be clear in oil paints, but a clear is good if you want to make some of your other colors a little more transparent. Just go ahead and use the big one on this. Break it up. And what we'll do after getting the rocks broken down into this size, is take them into the mortar and pestle and then crush them some more. So this is a good amount for making watercolor pans. If you only have a little bit, you may end up with only one pan of watercolor. And if you're making oil paints, it uses a lot more pigment to make the oil paint than it does to make a watercolor. So you'll need those little tiny jars to put your little bit of paint in. And then you'll want to either freeze them or use them right after you make them. So this is what we do with the rocks. Usually I will crush up all the different colors that I want to bring inside and do in the mortar and pestle, and it's time consuming in the mortar and pestle. But I'll show you the big tool that I use for crushing when I'm making a lot of pigment. This is how I started, and it's how I still do limestone and other colors. Some things I can't use on my big machine. But I always have to do this part before I take them to the big machine if I'm going to be making a lot anyway.